Mike's around.
Yeah, I think that was good.
It's November 7th, 2018, 7 PM. I call the council meeting to order. Roll call.
Bennett.
Here.
Vitolo.
Here.
Lane.
Here.
Neely.
Here.
Sinning.
Here.
Wachecki. Matthews.
Here. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the annual schedule of regular meetings herefore adopted and posted on the public bulletin board at the municipal building, emailed to the Hawthorne Press, the Herald News, the Record, and the Gazette. And all persons who requested the mailing of such schedule and a copy of said schedules remained on file in the office of the Borough Clerk from and since December 7, 2017. Closed session pursuant to NJSA 10:4-13 and the Attorney General's formal opinion 29-1976, I entertain a motion to adopt Resolution CS 04-18 and that the public be excluded from this portion of the meeting, and that in order the council may discuss contract negotiations. Items discussed in closed session can be disclosed at the public when the course of action has been determined or a decision has been reached.
So moved.
Motion by Lane, second by Bertolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, let me just stop this and show.
John time. Okay. Approval of the minutes. Can I have approval of the minutes for the regular meeting of October 17, 2018? Motion by Mealy, second by Bennett. Any discussion? Roll call.
Sinning.
Yes.
Mealy.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Bertolo.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Matthews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Public comment. I now open the meeting to the public. If anyone desires to be heard on agenda items, come forward to the microphone, state your name and address. Seeing none, I entertain a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Lane, second by Sinning. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Adoption of ordinances. We have ordinance number 2216-18, an ordinance to amend 2200-18, fixing the salaries, wages, and compensation of the employees of the Borough of Hawthorne, County of Passaic, and State of New Jersey. I'll now open the meeting to the public. If anyone desires to be heard regarding this ordinance, please raise your hand to be recognized. Come forward to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Anyone wish to be heard? Okay. I entertain a motion that the public hearing on this ordinance be closed, that it be resolved that this ordinance was posted on the public bulletin board on which public notices are customarily posted, published in the Hawthorne Press, and available on the borough website. Copies of said ordinance were made available to the general public. Now therefore be it resolved that this ordinance be adopted and the clerk is authorized to advertise the same according to law. You have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion by Bennett, second by Bertolo. Any discussion? Roll call.
Bennett.
Yes.
Bertolo.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Mealy.
Yes.
Sinning.
Yes.
Matthews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Old business. Anyone have any old business?
Yes,
You
Frank.
start your way.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, John.
That's all right.
No, I already talked to Eric.
Okay.
No, I discussed with Eric offline, we're good.
Bruce?
No?
I also talked to Eric. We talked to Eric a lot now, don't we?
I was busy.
John?
Listening and listening.
Yes. I don't know, Eric or Michael or Gary, is there any update on the parking on Fifth Avenue? As of last meeting, you were going to have an ordinance meeting, and that was on the agenda?
We did have it, and we decided there's nothing we could really do about it. We're not going to go and start giving out parking stickers for every street in town. If you do one street, just got to move the problem to the next street. We did, as part of that, there is an ordinance on here changing some of the parking on Utter Ave, which I don't know if it'll help or make it worse, but because that was part of the other problems, you couldn't see getting out of the intersections. But as far as parking, the employees there of any business there have as much right to park there as anyone else. You don't own the parking space in front of your house.
Okay, I agree with some of the stuff that you mentioned. However, I don't think it's fair for the residents who live there on Fifth Avenue or however, anywhere in that area, that the employees who work in the facilities in the area have to be compromised with them not being able to park close to their house, by their house, when the facilities should have adequate parking for their employees. I mean, I've seen many times when people have come before the Board of Adjustment, the Planning Board, and that's one of the major questions that are asked as far as parking is concerned. And I think it has to be addressed either by the ordinance committee, by the council, or by the administration with regard to, the people, our residents who live on Fifth Avenue or in the area, that they can park by their homes. I've gotten many calls recently. They have to park a block away from their house because people get there at 6 o'clock in the morning and they don't leave till 6, 7 o'clock at night. I don't think that's fair for our residents when the establishments there should be able to provide adequate parking. I know it's been discussed here in the past with regard to possibly talking to some of the facilities there and having them busing their employees in or parking on a remote lot. But I think it has to be addressed by I think all of us with regard to our residents. I think our residents actually take priority. If somebody was there for 7 or 8 hours, maybe that's one thing, but for the length of time that they're there, I don't think it's fair for our residents to be parking a block away, especially if they have groceries or they have small children or whatever, or babies. it's not fair. And I would like either the administration or us to work together to see if we can come up with a solution that we can you know, approach the facilities and you know, have them, if they're violating their ordinance, if they're violating their resolution from one of the boards, then maybe they have to come back and readjust their parking plan or readjust their facility hours or whatever. But
Do you know what company it is? What company's involved?
yeah, I do, but I don't think it's necessary to name them right now. I said the facilities in the area, and I think that's important for our neighbors to know that we're trying to help them out. I mean, it's not just one isolated little block; it's that whole area there. So I would like, Mr. President, if we can meet with administration, go over it, and see, you know, come up with a plan that maybe we can address some of the facilities and speak with them and see if we can come up with a plan. I'd be willing to work with that, with the administration if you so desire.
Is that an industrial area there? What is there? Was it right?
Yeah.
It's zoned
No,
industrial.
just, there was a number of things that we talked about in the ordinance meeting. Obviously, one was the inability to cross Utter from any of the numbered streets, whether it be 5th through 11th. You know,
I concur with that.
So what we
I
decided to
concur
do
with
is
that.
take, you know, do things in little steps. So obviously, we already had restricting parking on the one side of Utter. We
That's
said, let's
correct.
go all the way up to make it safer to get across. Because one of the big issues on 11th Ave has been people driving over the front lawn of the southeast property,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously some cars that have been hit.
Right.
So a second step that we've asked the police department to look at is no trucking or no through trucking on the numbered streets. The only thing the police department said is obviously you get down to Fifth Ave, it's an industrial street. A
Well,
little blend of both.
I
So
can-
that one's a little more difficult, but we're trying to obviously cut out the large trucks cutting through neighborhoods to begin with. Because I
Okay.
know up on 6th through 7th, there was a big issue.
I can address that because I know personally, because I've witnessed it, the trucks with the, and I think it's Premio, they do not go down Fifth Avenue anymore. They go all the way down Lafayette Avenue. I've witnessed them going down and coming back. I don't have a problem with that.
But not
And
all,
because that-
not all
that'll-
the companies are doing
That
that.
alleviated a lot of the problems on Fifth Avenue, but there's still other problems. You know, the trailer parking, I'm sorry, the trailer routes, I think it's basically taken care of itself, and now Lafayette Avenue is being used, but it's the resident parking. I mean, you had a resident that has a handicap sticker, they can't even park in front of their house, they have to park across the street. I mean, excuse me, sir.
Just said that's a ticket then.
Well,
Well,
okay,
we can-
so,
we can-
so
they can
I
ask for
think we
space.
have to address it.
Work with the names of the companies and let the administration reach out to them to ask them in a letter.
That's all I'm asking, if we can address it. If we have to maybe have a committee meeting or something, I'm willing to spend the time to try to work out a solution.
Fair enough.
Was there any I wasn't at the ordinance meeting, as a way. Was there any discussion about time limiting parking?
The only discussion we had was
Sticker, not
initially whether we were going to consider resident sticker parking, and unanimously thought that, no, if we start doing resident-only parking in this neighborhood, every neighborhood that has a traffic
can
issue would ask for
understand
the
that,
same.
Michael. I can
There
understand
was
that.
no discussion about time limit. It was like,
Something to
it's
consider.
something we look at. It's step by step. Utter was certainly a priority to, those streets are impossible to get across, and then looking from there.
But the ordinance that we're gonna look at tonight, I mean, that could even make the problem worse.
Correct.
With taking parking off Utter and putting those cars on the side streets.
It
So-
could.
But perhaps what we could do in the letter that we're going to send to the businesses that you think are the offenders, tell them that the parking is going to be removed and we expect it not to end up further on the side streets, that your employees should be parking on their properties if possible.
Okay, I think we have to work on that.
Yep,
We did paint the corners though, right? All the corners are painted yellow.
correct, which makes it safer but less parking. So
Right.
it's kind of trickling, you might be making one thing better and another thing a little worse.
It'll make it worse, I believe that. Okay, thank you.
Good. Old business. Oh, Eric, I know I spoke to you regarding the dumpster. I just want to voice for the people that have complained to me yesterday about a dumpster being located on Hutchinson Ave during,
Already discussed it with a
let's please not,
representative from Public Works.
I hope we don't do that ever again on election day, stick a dumpster right by the tightest part of the area.
You're talking about a roll off or a dumpster? Roll off, right?
It was a
Roll-off.
roll-off,
Roll off.
yeah.
Yeah, dumpster.
Big cul-de-sac at the back of the street there. So, new business, John, we'll start your way.
I don't have anything. I'd like to discuss best practices.
Well, we're gonna get to that when we're doing any local.
Okay.
I'm okay.
That's all.
I hear
That's
you.
all, right.
I'm okay.
Bruce, John,
No, I'm good.
Gary,
I have nothing.
it's all yours, Eric.
Okay, I'm sorry that this came late. The notice that went out from the state missed us. Apparently, they had a former CFO's email address where they sent the notice about it, and then they were off by about a month when they normally send it, so we just thought maybe they were not doing it, but lo and behold, it's due by November 12th, and it has to be reviewed by the council, so I asked the council president if we could add it. There's a big difference in this year's best practices inventory than in prior years. The past 2 years, there have been 25 questions. This year, there's now 61. There's, I think, 30 new ones, and then some of the old ones were split in two because they were like multiple parts, and so they split them in two. You have to get 46 positive answers, yes, not applicable, or prospective, that are in order to not lose any state aid. Perspective is only, you can only use that on one of the new ones. Since this year there are so many new ones, there's many opportunities to put in perspective. As it turns out, we don't need to use any perspective ones to get it. We have 36 yeses and 12 not applicables, which takes us to 48. But nonetheless, because we think it's, if there are good practices that we think will be better for us, we've identified 6 more that we intend to work on. That helps us next year if the lift shifts again, but some of the same ones remain. If we have yes, we're in good shape, and to the extent that they make sense for us, let's do them. You know, if it's something that we just didn't, we hadn't considered before the best practices list came out, we're going to consider it and do it. And that's really what the state wants all municipalities to do. So I put the reports in front of you. If you have any questions about specific things, I'm happy to review them. But other than that, the report will be submitted to the state tomorrow, and will be a couple days early.
We don't, because of the mix-up, we don't get any extra time for it?
No, of course not.
Just asking.
And we don't need it, quite frankly. We just had to scramble a little bit to review. And as I said, we have, without doing anything, we have 48 positive answers. We need 46. And we've identified 6 more that we think that will benefit us, and we will work on it over the next year. So.
Okay.
And what do the geniuses in Trenton give us for being such a good little municipality, a gold
all
star?
they give us all of our municipal aid, which otherwise, if we didn't do so well, they would take a little bit away from us. So.
Yeah, because the problem is with the municipalities, not with state government.
Yeah.
We're sending them a best practice questionnaire too.
Let's see if they answer it.
Okay,
Maybe we should suggest that.
just a housekeeping question. You said it may, the application may have gone to Mary Jean's old email address?
Yes, we've addressed.
Don't we have that forwarding to Lori now? Just in case anybody
It's
trickles in?
accessible to go there. They aren't automatically full.
Well, why aren't we doing an automatic bump, so this way something comes and you don't have to go find it?
I mean, in this one, we've addressed with the state to make, because they have some that come to both lorries, some that come only to this lorry, some that go, apparently went only to the CFO, but, so they have different lists. So we thought had updated the list because Lori Foley was getting stuff. But apparently they have different lists they use for different.
Is there a reason we just don't pull our email out?
What?
Why don't we just delete the email address?
Because it's not on the best practices questionnaire.
We're waiting for that to pop
I
up.
mean, we keep the
Honestly.
email referred to, I'm not sure if it's even active, that you can get new emails in, so it may have bounced back to them, and they
Just didn't do anything with it.
They didn't do anything with it.
Fair enough. Okay. Turn to the administrative agenda presented by Mayor Goldberg. Mayor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. Congratulations to those who won their elections and those who tried and were not successful. Running for public office is a daunting task, and being part of the process makes winners out of everybody. I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for another great season with our farmers market. The mayor's Halloween parade took place last Tuesday evening. It was great to see all the children dressed up. And I want to thank Jen Tenkate and our Board of Recreation for always doing a great job at this special event. And no, Councilman Bertolo, I did not have dinner reservations. It just was what it was.
That was a rumor.
I know. Leaf pickup on the street continues. Please check the borough calendar for zone pickups. Also, please remember that bag leaves continue to be picked up on your yard waste day until the last week of November. Residents can pick up 15 free bags at the recycling center. The annual Veterans Day service will be held in front of Borough Hall this Sunday, November 11th at 11 a.m. Now, I know there's some confusion because the official observance of Veterans Day is on the 12th. However, this is the 100th anniversary celebrating November 11th as either Armistice or Veterans Day, and we felt it important to hold the celebration on the day on which it was intended to be held. So we will be doing it at 11 a.m. This Sunday. This marks the 100th, as I said, the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I. Please join us as we remember all who have served in America in all wars. And then at 1 p.m., the borough will dedicate a portion of Mohawk Avenue at the corner of North 10th Street in honor of World War I veterans John Bay and Nicholas Bay. So please join us for that, as we don't anticipate a lot of family from World War I. So it's nice that we'll be able to support the event. And finally, since we won't be gathering before Thanksgiving, I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and also to keep in your memories those who are serving in the armed forces who won't be able to celebrate Thanksgiving at home with their families, and say an extra prayer for their safety. I have an appointment by the mayor of the Municipal Alliance Committee. By the virtue and power and authority vested in me as mayor of the Borough of Hawthorne, I hereby appoint J. Van Hoff as a member of the Municipal Alliance Committee of the Borough of Hawthorne, and until a successor be appointed and qualified.
So we'll have a motion to record.
Second.
Motion by Mealy, second by Lane. All in favor? Oh, no, oh, sorry, it's a roll call.
Sinning,
Yes,
Mealy,
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Bertolo.
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Matthews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Come on up, Jay.
Want to borrow Brian's
Michael.
family?
Right, you want
You want to borrow Brian's family to hold the Bible?
We have the Municipal Alliance
coordinator.
coordinator, so we're going to let her hold the Bible for you. Now, Jay, the camera's there, so in order for people to see you, you've got to be standing that way. And Lori DeBella is our coordinator for Municipal Alliance. We're going to ask you to raise your right hand and put your left hand on the Bible and repeat after me. I, Jay Van Hoff,
I, Jay Van Hoff,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and I'll bear true faith and allegiance
and I'll bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and will perform the duties of
and will perform the duties of
member of the Municipal Alliance Committee
a member of the Municipal Alliance Committee
of the Borough of Hawthorne,
of the Borough of Hawthorne,
faithfully,
faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly,
and justly,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Take everybody stand.
Great job.
All right, I have an appointment of the mayor of alternate number 2 of the Shade Tree Commission of Borough of Hawthorne by the virtue of power and authority vested in me as mayor of the Borough of Hawthorne. I hereby appoint Brian Collier as alternate number 2 member of the Shade Tree Commission to fill an unexpired 5-year term to expire on December 31st, 2019, until a successor shall be appointed and qualified.
Have a motion to record.
So moved.
Motion by Bertolo, second by Sitting. Roll call.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertolo,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Mealy,
Yes.
Sinning,
Yes.
Matthews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, Brian, come on up, bring your family. Same rule, TV cameras there, so everybody wants to see you. Naomi, you're going to hold the Bible? Okay, I'm going to ask you to place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I, Brian Collier,
I, Brian Collier,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the
of
Constitution
the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and I'll bear true faith and allegiance
and I'll bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and will perform the duties of
and will perform the duties of
alternate number 2,
alternate number 2,
member of the Shade Tree Commission
member of the Shade Tree
of the
Commission
Borough of Hawthorne,
of the Borough of Hawthorne,
faithfully,
faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly,
and justly,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Take everybody's seat.
Thank you. Welcome aboard.
You've gotten very tall.
Good job.
Okay, at this point in time, I call upon my borough attorney, Michael Pasquale, for his report.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations to Jay and Brian on the promotions or appointments. Congratulations to those who ran in the election. We had almost 50% voter turnout in Hawthorne when there was no local election and an uncontested school board election. So congratulations to the voters for caring enough to get out and vote. Again, 50% was a big day, and of course the election went seamlessly, so congratulations to our borough clerk and staff. I even got to pitch in a little bit this year, but you know, I didn't do well. It was a one and done. I will report on matters legal, affordable housing. I've had a number of conference calls in the last couple of weeks with our special master and with attorneys representing several different interests to try to put everything together. Our conference with Judge Brogan was put off to mid-December, and so it gives us a little more time to try to finalize what we hope is a plan to make everybody, if not happy, at least satisfied with our affordable housing plan. Tonight you're having, for introduction before you, Ordinance 221718, which I sent a memo to you, but for the people at home who are watching, it's an ordinance that changes some of the appointment processes and positions and titles within the borough. Every once in a while, we take a look at the code and see that there's some issues in our code where there's inconsistencies with state law, or that there's need to make changes because titles become antiquated and the like. In the finance department, we're restructuring the department so that we put a clear definition to what the CFO is supposed to be doing, because CFO was added as a position seemingly as an afterthought in this form of government. So the CFO position now will be head of one half of the department, which is the finance side of the department, and the tax collector will be the head of the other side of the department, which is the revenue collection department. It's far more consistent with what state statute calls for. OEM, a small change in that we're changing the title from director to coordinator, because that's what the state statute reads, and also making provision for the appointment of one or more deputy coordinators. Our engineer, we're formalizing and putting in place the appointment process because it's a 3-year term by statute. Municipal court is being reorganized because we have, sorry, Steve, I know, I get 4, by the way. The municipal court.
I think the lawyers wrote that too.
Yeah, pretty much. It's good to be us. The municipal court, we had a process where we have appointed our 2 people who are in there, the administrator and the deputy. They're really not appointments. There's an entire process where you bring in the judge, the assignment judge from the counties involved, a clerk, administrator from another municipality. It has to be part of the interview process. It's a hire. It's not an appointment, so we've taken those out of the appointment realm and made them hires because that's what the statute calls for. And then our prosecutor and assistant prosecutor were 1-year terms, but our public defender was seemingly indefinite, which didn't make sense, and our judge is 3 years, which the statute calls for. So we're recommending 2-year terms for all of those positions, the prosecutor, the assistant prosecutor, and the public defender, but not to exceed the term of the mayor. Library board is just a little change of language, and planning board, we are proposing to break the positions of secretary and attorney in half and say there will be a secretary and an attorney. We are pretty sure there are 572 other municipalities that don't have 564. My apology, Eric corrected me. We lost a couple
And you get
in the
4
election. The 564 towns do not do it the way we do, so we will now be conforming with the rest of the world. Other than that, I did start a trial on Monday in the Highview at Hawthorne matter with the remaining portion of figuring out is there any liability for the borough for contributing towards the maintenance of a 400-foot strip of roadway. We're pretty sure there is not. Judge will hear the matter continuing in December. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Michael. I now call upon Dr. Boswell for his report. It is Dr. Boswell, but sure.
Thank you, Mayor. The band shell, we're waiting to get the final date when Montone will put in the ADA accessibility, and tonight, also on your agenda, you have the final change order to close it out to the contractor. That was for the signboard, the door, a couple other minor issues. Goffle Hill, a water storage tank. We're doing the investigation. We are getting into the borough administrator, the price for that remediation on the lead at both tanks. Not an insignificant number. We put it into the budget for next year. So when we have it all worked out, we'll let you know. The water asset management plan, phase 1 is complete. Phases 2 and 3 need to be completed. We'll just wait to be authorized on that work, but I assume that's also going to be in next year's budget. The GPS, we're going to need a little more time to complete because some of the connections had to be unearthed, had to be dug up because we couldn't find them. So it took a little more time to get those connected. The 2018 road program, the revised punch list has been reviewed with the contractor. We're waiting for his schedule to complete it. Lafayette Ave Streetscape Phase 2, which is punching the sidewalk, will be completed in the spring by Zaccaro. The Mary Street water tank, the scaffolding's been installed, an opening's been cut in the tank, and we're getting his schedule. Garcia expects to start the drainage improvements for the Goffle Hill water tank, which we're doing as part of the Mary Street tank, as you recall, in December or January. And also we're quantifying the lead abatement that's going to be necessary there. Washington Avenue drainage improvements, Phase 2, the application has been submitted to DOT. The 2019 NJDOT Local 8 applications, which are Arlington Avenue Phase 2 and Alexandria Avenue, have all been submitted ahead of schedule through the SAGE site to the DOT. Library roof leaks, we're still waiting to get back prices to replace that one last section, that shingle section. It was unfortunate. Pano was in town fixing the other roofs, and we said, while you're here, would you go over and look? And he looked, but we did not yet get the proposal. The Wagner Road tennis courts, the plant specs for the installation of the tile surface are being prepared and will be finalized with all the constructability review in about a week. So you can bid that whenever you'd like going forward. And I saved the best for last. Everyone I think knows by now the DPW building has been issued its temporary CO. I believe that the DPW is going to start, or already has started, occupying the building. And we also, when you look at the building, One of the things we had taken out of the project to save cost was the resurfacing that will be necessary in front of the building. We took it out because you get a much better price from a paving contractor to do paving than you do from a building contractor who hires a paving contractor and adds to it. Because of the extensive excavation that had to happen there, we believe that it's appropriate now, and Eric has found the funds to do it in the remaining bond from one of the road programs, to put in the subbase essentially across the full width of the building. It'll be across the ambulance corps apron, the aprons to the building, grade that site properly to get it all to work. And so we're recommending tonight that you award to Smith Sunday. We got a price, as you know, he has to bid it if it's over $40,000. You can see he's just under, and the reason for that is that we went as far as we could with the work with the money that was available to do it. None of this work will be wasted. This isn't a case of where you have to dig it up next time when we top it. What will happen now is when we come in the spring with the road program, we'll put the top course on this as well as around the back of the building. This is just going to be across the front of the building, and it's going to need 4 inches of stabilized base. The rest of it will not need any base. So we strongly recommending that. I think Eric will talk about it as well in his report. And you also have tonight the final 2 change orders. One was to put the door back in that we were required to put in on the side, and the other was for the carbon monoxide, which we still don't necessarily agree that this is a parking structure. We think it's a truck storage facility. However, we wanted the CO, so we put it in. And other than that, Mayor, I'll answer any questions.
Thank you, Steve. Next, I call upon my Borough Administrator, Eric Mauer, for his birthday report.
Thank you very much. Almost all departments have now submitted their 2019 budget requests, and the rest have promised them shortly. I'll be holding the administrative hearings on these requests on November 27th and 28th, which is something that's required to happen in November. We've nearly completed the review of our telecommunications services and bills with our consultant Spyglass Group for both wireless service and landlines. The savings identified thus far are $350 a month through a combination of removal of taxes billed erroneously, unneeded services being discontinued, and switching to a less costly cell phone plan. Spyglass is also soliciting proposals for a new 3-year contract, which could save even more money, and I plan to present to the council that award on 11/28, and that should save still more. So we'll be paying Spyglass for part of the savings, but going forward we'll be have a much lower cost for our telecommunications services. To save on our utility bills, the borough participates in the Passaic County Cooperative for electric generation and gas supply. The county has accepted bids and awarded a new 24-month contract for electric generation. Although the price is 7.7% higher than the previous 30-month contract, the price is still well below the price for the purchase from PSE&G. The 7.7% translates into about 3% per year in the 2.5 years since the previous contract. We would have preferred a little bit less, but that's what it is. The borough has received confirmation of an $80,000 CDBG grant from the county for repaving Irvington Avenue, a portion of North 10th, and Stams Alley. This work will be done as part of our 2019 road program. Since we have settled the PBA contract, assuming council adopts the resolution on tonight's agenda, I'll be setting up negotiation sessions for the blue and white collar UPSEU units in early December to begin negotiating successor agreements to the ones which will expire this December 31st. The resolution that Steve mentioned for the paving, it's R18518. And actually, Steve, the money for the lead abatement, we have money in the ordinance. We can proceed as soon as we get your, so we don't need to budget for more money. So we're ready to go. So, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Eric. At this point, Council President will be happy to answer any questions.
Gary, start your way.
I have nothing.
John?
No, I'm good.
Bruce? No. Dominic?
Good, good.
John?
Thank you. Michael, in the ordinance that you're proposing tonight, based on what you had mentioned, the chief financial officer in the past, basically was in charge of the finance department, so to speak.
No. The finance, the overall finance department is headed by a department head, the director of finance. We've changed the title to recognize it's really a revenue and finance. Mary Jean always said revenue and finance. She was right, but the literal code says Department of Finance. So we're going to make it Department of Finance and Revenue.
Okay.
But the department head runs the overall department. The CFO only oversees the finance side of it, and the tax collector, the revenue collection side. So it really breaks into two divisions within the department.
Okay, so who's going to be the director then?
Functionally,
We don't have a
We don't have a
director at this
director,
point. The position's
functionally,
open.
the CFO is essentially the person in charge, effectively like the acting director, but we don't have a director per se.
So at some point, we're going to have an ordinance to appoint a director?
No,
No,
I'm
it's
just
the
going
mayor's
to appoint a
appointment.
director at some point.
This is just the structure being outlined, and it can be the same people.
One person that could have.
Well, that's what.
It doesn't have to be another
that's-
person.
No, I'm not looking to have another person. I'm just looking for clarification as to how it's going to be set up.
In theory, John, I could appoint either the CFO or the tax collector or somebody completely outside, but given the money we pay for the director's salary, it probably won't be somebody from outside. This gives the mayor the flexibility to choose between the two people in there, the tax collector and the CFO, as to who the mayor wants to be the director of finance.
Yeah,
Okay,
both those
and when
posi-
you, I'm sorry, go
Both
ahead.
of
Aaron.
those positions are ones that the people become tenured. And in the Faulkner Act, you need somebody with administrative control over the department who's appointed by the mayor, serves in the mayor's term. There's still statutory duties that somebody else couldn't interfere with, but to have administrative control to make sure that in terms of hiring people, preparing budgets, assuring that the people were there during all hours, that were supposed to be open, taking discipline should it need to happen. Those things, there needs to be the opportunity for a different person other than those, and somebody who's answerable to the mayor for those things.
Different person or a different title?
Different ti-
title.
I mean,
Right, different title. It could be the
person
same
in
person.
Same person, but a different title.
Right.
But having chosen that, you don't, even if the person's tenured as one of the other titles, doesn't mean that you have to keep them as director if the mayor sees that there's a problem.
So a director, is that going to be like a one-year term or a four-year term at
It's
the pleasure
the
of the
term
mayor?
of the mayor. It is the
Pleasure of the
department
mayor.
head. We have department heads. The DPW has a department
Right.
head. Legal department has a department head. Eric's the head of the administrative department. We do not have right now, we have 4 department heads under our ordinance, and the Faulkner Act requires you to have department heads, at least an administrator and then others.
5, because I'm the director of public safety.
Yes, you are. That's correct.
That's correct.
So you are a director also. So we have department heads, but again, CFO and tax collector are statutorily required positions, and they both acquire tenure. So we put one in charge of the finance side. Logically, CFO should be in charge of finance, and the other in charge of what's the revenue collection side. And we changed the name from the treasury and the treasurer to the CFO, which is really what the statute now refers to.
Okay, so, okay.
So, and it's just creating a framework. Nothing's really changing per se. We're eliminating some antiquated titles like
fine.
treasurer, deputy treasurer, things like that. And we're now putting a more distinct hierarchy under the department head.
Okay, thank you. The other, now, would the director's position be a tenured position? Would you,
No.
it would be just an appointment?
Just an appointment.
And
This
serve
would-
at the pleasure of the mayor?
Right, this would be the opportunity for a new mayor coming in, having an opportunity to choose one of 2 employees who are tenured to be appointed to that position. So theoretically, one mayor could have the tax collector, and the next mayor say, no, I'd rather have the CFO as the director of finance,
Or someone else altogether.
or someone else
Right,
altogether.
okay.
You'd probably either need more money, or you need to find maybe someone who's retired that would work 5 or 10 hours a week to provide oversight and and you can pay them that amount
Okay,
of money, so.
thank you. The other item that I have is something that Dr. Boswell just spoke on too, is the Department of Public Works building. I just want to say that we did have problems with the weather, with the building, with the steel during the construction process, but the contractor, the general contractor, really did a fantastic job. The building is beautiful. It's very well put together, even though people look at it and say it's a metal building. Well, to me, it's as solid as a brick building would be. It's going to last this borough many years. And one of the aspects of the whole project was installing the sprinkler fire alarm system throughout the old building and the new building because of the problems that arose in other municipalities last year and the year before with their DPW buildings burning down and losing all their equipment. So I'm very pleased. I've made many trips there. I'm very pleased with the construction, with the attitude that the GC and his workers had were just positive.
So you're saying in spite of the engineer, you're happy with it?
I'm not saying that at all,
Oh,
Mayor.
okay.
You're saying that.
I was trying to help you.
But he did a great job. Yes, there were extras. Some of them were unforeseen. Some of them were just some things that we had to do. But it was just a great job. He did a great job for us, also as a Hawthorne resident.
Mr. Bob, does the roof leak?
It does not. It does
And
not.
after the other night's rains, that would have been a
We had a
test.
good test. We had a good test.
But-
Any other questions?
That's all I have, Frank.
Eric, are you holding back good news from the insurance front on a rebate? From the JIF?
We were expecting to invite our
Yeah, what's the name? Yeah.
Yeah.
our agent to come at the next meeting to present us with a check.
Okay.
We talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about it, he's been invited to come. I anticipate next meeting, a representative from Columbia Bank will be here to present us with a check as well. As I think I mentioned to this group, we talked to the Columbia Bank Foundation, and they were looking to give us $20,000, and when I said we have a tennis court in need of replacing, repair, and that, well, 20,000 was nice, 50,000 would be better, because that would put them right up with the county, because the county gave us 50,000. So, because Columbia comes before county alphabetically, they could be at the top of the sign. We'll be taking a picture Friday at the tennis court, I think at 11:30, for them to present us with a big check, and then we'll bring them to this meeting to present us with a check and go to the check again. No, not two checks, unfortunately, just one, but presented twice.
Steve, how long will it take to do the courts, do you know?
Oh, it's very quick. I mean, it's.
They do it in the spring, so the high school can use it for
Oh, yeah,
matches.
when we did them in Paramus, I think it took the guy 2 weeks.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, they'll
They
be
go
done
quick.
plenty of
weather would be
time.
an issue.
Goes-
Other than that,
it goes quick.
They snap together. It's not a big deal.
And the high school plays in the fall, so that shouldn't be an issue.
Okay, anything else, Mayor?
No, that's
Hey,
it.
quick question for Steve on the courts. I'm assuming they put new net posts have to go in? Or how do they work that? Because the height is going to be off a little bit,
I
right?
guess we could put those in as an option. I'm not
I
sure.
think they were in the budget.
Were they? Okay.
The
I'll
budget
make sure. It's a
estimate,
good
so.
question.
Right, it's going to, there's going to be some height difference, I would
Right,
assume, from
right.
the
I'll take a look at
panels,
that.
right?
And we are making one a pickleball court.
Two pickleball.
Two pickleball courts.
Right. Two.
The access gate locked?
Gate, the gate.
No, the tennis courts are not locked. They're only locked when we're using the field for Hawthorne Day. It's the only time where we restrict access to the tennis court. In the olden days, we used to sell tennis badges, but we found that there's just not enough requests for it. If we find that the new courts are being overused by out-of-towners, then we may have to look at something. But the plan is to make it available to the community.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
All once.
No, I'm good.
Have a motion to record the administrative agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Lane, second by Neely. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Introduction of ordinances. We have ordinance number 2217-18, an ordinance amending various sections of the Code of the Borough of Hawthorne regarding titles, positions, appointments, processes, and fees for professionals. Be resolved, this ordinance does now pass the first reading, and said ordinance be further considered for final passage at a meeting of the governing body in the municipal building, 445 Lafayette Avenue, Hawthorne, New Jersey, on November 28, 2018, at 7 p.m. At which time and place all persons interested will be given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same, and the clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish the said ordinance in the Hawthorne Press once and post it on the borough website at least 1 week prior to the said hearing, with the notice of its introduction and time and place, when and where the said ordinance will be considered for final passage. Have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Bennett, second by Bertolo. Any discussion? Roll call.
Sinning,
Yes.
Mealy,
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Bertolo.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Matthews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Ordinance 2218-18, an ordinance to further amend and supplement Chapter 505, Article 3, Section 505-18, parking prohibited at all times, Schedule 8 of the Code of the Borough of Hawthorne, so as to therefore certain additional,
13.
I'm sorry, 13.
You don't read Roman?
I'm Polish. Be resolved, this ordinance does now pass the first reading, and that said ordinance be further considered for final passage of the governing body of the municipal building, 445 Lafayette Ave, Hawthorne, New Jersey, on November 28, 2018, at 7 p.m. At which time and place all persons have been interested is given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same, and the clerk is hereby authorized and directed to publish the said ordinance in the Hawthorne Press and post on the borough website at least 1 week prior to said hearing, with the notice of its introduction and time and place, when and where said ordinance would be considered for final passage. Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Bennett, second by Sinning. Any discussion?
Discussion.
Discussion.
I wasn't at the ordinance meeting, I was away on business. I have some concerns that we're doing no parking on both sides of Utter for that whole length of Utter Avenue. I'm not sure, I guess the police made this recommendation. Question,
No, it's only one side restricted. We're
we're
consistent
going
all the way up on one side.
It's the
Yeah.
same?
Same
okay.
side.
Continued from the side that was restricted up, so that
Okay.
you have more of a visual corridor to cross the side streets.
Okay. I thought you were going on the other side now and doing the whole
Continued
thing.
up the same side.
No, there is one issue, though, and there's a misprint in the ordinance, which is probably what you're looking at, because
Yes. Width.
the current code has the wrong side listed. So this now will supersede and take it all the way up. It says this is on the,
North,
this will be on the, let's think.
East side.
No, not east. This is going to be the south side. This is
says the
running all the
north.
way up south, I believe, right?
Well, it
It
says
runs north. Hold on, let's make sure we get it right. North side. North side of the street.
I would think the attorney would have known that.
Yeah, no, the original, in the code book, it's printed incorrectly.
Michael, while you're looking at that, if, I just think that one of the words is not correct, where it says, from the New York Susquehanna Railroad tracks east to a point 50 feet east of the intersection with 11th Avenue. Should it be up to 11th Ave?
No, 50 feet, because that's the parking restriction where you can't park there
Yeah.
anyway.
No, 50, I'm not doubting, I'm not saying the 50 feet. The word intersection with 11th Ave, should it be up to 11th Ave?
Oh, no. No 50 feet.
East to a point 50 feet east of the intersection with 11th Avenue. It goes beyond the intersection.
Okay.
So, no, I have the east part right. The question is, is
Okay.
the south side or the north side that restricting the parking on? It should be, the north is,
Coming away from 208,
right?
going down Other Avenue.
North
North to
side
be
is
toward
the
the
side coming away from.
North side is
Going
right
up
towards
Utter Avenue, it would be
the,
to the left.
Toward Ridgewood.
towards Ridgewood. Right, going towards Ridgewood, say. The south side is,
south end of town.
south, right.
Right.
The south side is going towards.
If you're-
Ridgewood.
if you're-
North side is coming away from.
No,
No, north side is just the opposite.
correct.
North side is to the left. If you're going up Utter Avenue,
It's on your
past,
left.
Avan, it's on the left. That's the
That's
north
correct.
side of the street.
Yeah.
And that's the
Tasty
side we're
pizza side of the
restricting.
street.
What's that?
North side.
Tasty pizza.
I knew
side.
you would relate to that. And the south side, It's the Puzo side.
Correct.
Right. And we're correct on the north side, right?
Verify that it's done
Right now, we have no parking on the north side up to Sixth Ave.
I think so.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're just extending it.
Oh, okay. Are there any houses, I don't think there are, but are there any houses that front on Utter Avenue that would now lose parking, or most
I
of them are
think
back
they
to
all
back,
front
right?
on the
I
numbered
think they
streets.
face the numbered streets.
I know that's an issue, and we know we have an ongoing issue with the corner of Fifth and Utter. The handicap parking space is across the street now for that homeowner. We moved it, she's on the north side of Utter and now has to park across the street with her handicap parking.
Yeah.
So,
There's not a lot of houses that I can think that front on Utter on that side of the
my
street.
other concern, and I'm certainly not gonna stop it, I think we have to, work on it, is I tend to agree with John on the parking issue, that they probably go hand in hand. We should not, we probably should look at this sooner than later about the parking. Because if you are gonna eliminate the parking, you may create some issues on the side street. So just something to
The
look
famous
at.
law of unintended consequences, we
Right.
have to do this to see what happens.
Without a doubt. Well, I think we ought to look at the other one. The other thing I have, and I've been up and down and taking a look at it, I think the speed limit signs or the speed signs work really well. I noticed again the other day on Diamond Bridge Avenue, somebody came off Goffel Road, the light lights up, 29 miles an hour, and the brake lights hit, come right back down. So it is having an effect with people.
Yep.
I wonder, and I saw Utter Avenue is a long stretch, and because of the volume of traffic, I wonder if we need more on Utter Avenue. So we may want to give that to the traffic division and have them take a look at it.
We will.
And then last, but not least on the whole thing is again, I'm not sure if we can get a report, from the police department on how often they're doing radar on a street like Utter, Washington, where we've put the signs up, can we prove that it's working? How many summonses have been issued or not issued? That's the reason we beefed up the traffic division.
Right, I get a
to go
list,
hand in
I get a
hand.
list of summonses each month, how many, whether they're parking or
Right,
non-parking.
can we have them take a look at it and put together the streets where we put the signage, or the streets that we are gonna put new signage? Are they actually, because this was only, the signs were part of
To decrease
fixing the whole problem.
Right.
We still wanted to see a presence of an officer out there writing some summonses, so hopefully that's being done, and maybe we can report
It
on
is,
that.
because you have to
So,
remember now, we have a four-man traffic squad. so
Right.
It
And
is,
Right, but I'm hoping that they're doing traffic,
they are doing radar.
radar, and if we could see that report, it'd be nice. So, that's all I had on that.
Frank? No, I got. Also, I understand, Mayor, and I concur with you, we have to look at this ordinance in order to maybe have a solution for the rest of the stuff that I mentioned earlier. However, I think, I'm not gonna not vote for this, I'm gonna approve this, but I think we really have to look at Fifth Avenue and some of the other streets, because the traffic, the parking is just unbearable. And the other thing, I think, just to bounce off what John had mentioned as far as the radar is concerned, if you can maybe talk to the police, in the morning on Pasadena Place, there's a lot of children on Pasadena Place from Ray Ave to Watchung, all the way down by Gary's house, and people fly down there. They come down Ray Ave Extension, they miss the lights, and they go all the way down. And if you can look at having radar on there, like from maybe a little after 7 to somewhere around 8 o'clock, because that's when all the cars go by, let me tell you, they move. And
Well, Eric will ask them
Like you can
to,
put signs in.
Can I pick it back on that? I know, since we moved the crossing,
Well, we're kind of getting out of the realm of
Down
this.
further.
Guys, I got to stop you. We're getting out of the realm of this ordinance is for one thing. If you want to talk about all parts of town, that's great, but let's do it afterwards. Or during the questions for administration. Roll call.
Bennett,
Yes, I think. I lost track of what we're voting on.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Bertolo.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Mealy.
Yes.
Sinning.
Yes.
Woteki. Oh,
Woteki.
sorry.
Here?
Matthews.
Yes. Resolutions, we have none. We have consent agenda R 177-18 through R 185-18. R 177-18 is the Borough of Hawthorne payroll dated October 26, 2018. R 178-18 payment of county taxes. R 179-18 clothing allowance for retired firefighters. R 180-18 is change order number 1 for the band shell restrooms. R 181-18 change order number 6 and 7 for the DPW truck wash. R 182-18 Boswell Engineering Services for the tennis court rehab project. R 183-18 is the award of contract for the borough revaluation project. And 184-18 is the approval of the PBA contract 2019 through 2022. And the one that was added tonight was the 185-18 paving at the DPW building for the subcourse. Have a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Bertolo, second by Sitting. Any discussion? Roll call.
Michael? Oh.
Oh, yep.
179-18, can I vote on that or abstain?
You need to abstain.
Okay,
You're not retired, but you're still a firefighter.
okay.
Semi-retired.
No?
Why do we give clothing allowance to retired firefighters?
I asked that when I first got on.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Sinning,
Yes.
Mealy,
Yes.
Lane,
Abstain on 179-18, yes on all others.
Bertolo,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Matthews.
Absolutely no on 178-18, yes on all others.
Motion
Reports of
carries.
special council committees. John, we'll start your way.
Thank you. Not to take anything away from you, Mr. President, but just the Chamber of Commerce Santa Parade is looking very, very good. I've spoken to Meg several times as chairman of the parade, and we got a lot of new bands, a lot of new floats, and it's going to be a real nice morning. The weather's going to be great, again, like it has been in the past, and looking for a great day and enjoyment for the children. And after the parade is over, there's going to be people in the back of the library doing music and songs and dancing. So it'll be just a great day. Sorry if I took that away from you, Mr.
Nope,
President.
I just crossed it off my list.
Mr. President, is it December 1st? That was the parade?
December 1st.
Yep.
Okay.
Councilman Mealy?
Oh. I have two committees, be quick. The Environmental Committee, their grant has been taken care of and it's on schedule. Raina is on top of things, okay? I had a long discussion with her this morning, so it's going just fine. Municipal Alliance had a very busy meeting. They discussed, I guess it runs from, what, July to July?
Yeah,
So they discussed
right,
next year,
July to June 30th.
The spring concert, we're sponsoring, they're gonna take care of what the Municipal Alliance is gonna take care of some of the band shell facilities, so it was a very busy meeting that meeting, so that's all I have to say.
Bruce?
Yes, the Public Works Committee met earlier this week, and we got an update on the DPW garage and the issuing of the temporary CO, which you heard about tonight. The Mary Street tank work is underway, as you heard. We took delivery of the valve maintenance trailer. Training has been scheduled on it. And we also went over the 2019 road program. That's the Public Works Committee. And on behalf of the Public Safety Committee, I attended a session last week of the Citizens Police Academy. Now, I've done the Junior Police Academy. I've done a number of sessions with them. I've never done anything with the Citizens Police Academy. And I was quite impressed. What they did was they were giving training on traffic stops in the Kohler parking lot, teaching the attendees, the people, the participants, what goes on during a traffic stop. Most of us have probably at one point in our lives been I won't say the victim, but we've undergone a traffic stop. We know how it feels. But I gotta say, I found it kind of fascinating to view the process through the eyes of the police officers, what they have to do, how they have to, protect themselves and what the procedure is. And I found it really, really interesting. I think it's a worthwhile thing for anyone that participates in this Citizens Police Academy, the things they learn. And I got to give our department credit. The guys who participated did a great job with these people, and it wasn't one or two guys. It was Sergeant Venema, Sergeant Hogamood, Detective Spohn, Detective DiGeronimo, Patrolman Burke, Patrolman Suarez, Patrolman Daly, and Patrolman Hughes all participated. And, I give them credit. They're really going out of their way to do this outreach program for the citizens. And interestingly enough, two of the citizens that participated just recently moved to the community. They're brand new to Hawthorne. One moved here from Jersey City and one moved here from Forest Hills, New York. And they joined because they'd never heard of anything, a program like this before, and they had words of praise for it. So great job to our department. They're doing a valuable service for our community.
Okay, and if you miss the opportunity to be pulled over, if you speed on Goupel Road, I'm pretty sure you'll see what a traffic stop is like.
Well, if they do pull me over, I now understand what they're going through, not
Correct.
just what I'm going through.
One of the most dangerous jobs a police officer has is walking up to a stopped car because he has no idea
Yep.
who or what's in the car, and they literally take their lives in their hands every time they approach.
And they did a number of role-playing things,
Right.
a drunk driving stop, a drug bust, just a normal traffic stop with a baby or a sick person. And
Yep.
it was really interesting to see how they have to handle each of those situations. That's it.
John,
I'm good.
Gary.
Where are we at with the zoning?
I haven't heard from John Sabo. We should be about due to get the materials, but he hasn't gotten them to me yet. I'll follow up tomorrow.
Did you give him those two sections that I've given you from the planning board?
He's aware of those. We emailed him the next day, and, yeah, I haven't gotten anything. I'll give him a call.
Because I guess eventually we're gonna have to probably meet again, but we can't meet until after we have all the information.
Yeah, and we want to get the input from our boards and everyone else to look at it, so I'll call him tomorrow.
Is that it?
That's it.
As Councilman Lane said, the Santa Parade is moving right along. Anyone would like to donate for the cause, the Chamber is always appreciative. They'd also like to thank everyone who supported the farmers market this year. They hope to continue the success into next year. And also thank you to all the restaurants and people who supported them during Restaurant Week. Planning Board, I did not attend last week. I was at the Mayor's Halloween Parade. There was a couple certificate of compliance applications.
They were all approved.
Nothing major, but positive things. That concludes committee reports. Correspondence, we have none, but we have bills. Can I have a motion to approve the bills and forward them to the treasurer for payment? So moved. Motion by Bertolo, second by Neely. Any discussion? Roll call.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertello,
Abstain on down street service, yes on all others.
Lane,
Abstain on the fire department, and on the ambulance corps, abstain, and yes on all others.
Mealy.
Yes.
Sinning.
Yes.
Matthews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Public comment. I now open the meeting to the public. Anyone desires to be heard, come forward to the microphone, state your name and address.
You're up.
You're up. Come on up.
I just came because the TV was out.
The beauty of it is you can replay it on YouTube the next day.
I don't know. Okay, I got a question. Hi, Alex Bella, 750 Goffel Road.
I'm sorry, Alex, the last name?
Vetla, V-E-T-L-O-V.
Thank you.
I got a question. Can we do that?
Sure.
What's the question?
The question pertaining to the drainage in Goffel Hill water tank. Drainage tank. Would that include the parking lot for the pump house there? And that, like, drainage would only be at the top.
Only at the top.
Because, there's a lot of runoff there.
Well, this will capture, it'll solve a lot of the problems. It's going to capture at the top and not run down the hill. That's the purpose.
Water doesn't run down the hill now?
It'll be captured.
What we're going to do is
Oh, I get it, okay.
we're going to capture it.
Less to run down.
Right.
But then there's still that area there.
True.
It's on the hill. Couple of years, we can address that.
Perhaps.
Mike, I'm happy with the garbage, but on Facebook, everybody's like, wow, wow. But I don't know if there's more problems with the current garbage, or if it's easier for people to complain.
It's the
Yeah.
same with every garbage vendor that we have. Towards the end of their contracts, they don't want to invest money in their equipment until they know they're going to get another contract.
Exactly.
The equipment breaks down, we push them hard, we charge them for back charges for things they don't do. We could easily fire them and go to the next person that was on the bid and spend hundreds of thousands more.
Right.
So we try and work with them and they try to work with us.
See that Facebook, guys?
No one's happy, you
I
know,
know.
but
I'm one of the ones.
that's why the honeymoon stage is always towards the end of the contract is when we have problems.
I just didn't know if it was just, it's just that it's easy to complain on
I'm
Facebook.
one of the ones who never gets them picked up.
Exactly.
Which proves that
And I've never seen you on Facebook complaining, Gary, which is.
No, but, you know.
I complain here.
Hey, I got a question for Eric. Will the savings for the telecommunications with phones,
Yeah.
is there any way that like the inspectors might get a phone, like the building inspector? Because I gotta say one thing, I'm a builder, and I deal with a lot of towns.
Okay.
And the one inspector calls me an hour before and says, hey, I'm coming to your job. I go, wait, I have to wait like 6 hours for you not to show up 3 times in a row. It's
Okay.
not fun as
Okay.
a
We
contractor.
can certainly look at that.
And it's just little things that if we could, you know, technology, if we could work a little bit more efficiently on both ends. I understand they have it rough, they have a lot of, gotta go out. But
Okay,
communication
sure.
in my field, it's a two-way street. It should be.
Yep.
You know, it's tough, you get, especially you got a 7:30 inspection, 7 o'clock inspection, or the guy shows up like 10 minutes early. And you can't even call the office to see if he.
Because the office isn't
missed
open
him by a
yet.
minute or something
Okay.
like that. So, I mean, I'm not
Okay,
gonna call the
we'll look at
inspector
that.
every day, but just, it would be an easy.
Okay.
I know that other towns do,
Okay,
so, and that's it.
okay.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I just came up with that except for the Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, one more thing.
Too late.
Don't forget to give us a good plug on the Facebook thread.
Gospel Road. On Gospel Road, they have we just got these no parking on either side.
I saw that this morning. There's that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Must be a county
That's
thing.
temporary, it's a temporary thing, I don't know what it
Temporary
is for.
like, dates,
I
like-
They're
assume
repaving where PS,
I think that's
from
okay,
Watchung,
but
where I
strictly.
live,
Right.
all the way up to Five Corners.
Okay.
They're going to be repaving that because of the teachers'
Gaslighting.
convention. That's why they're and they're doing that in conjunction with the work around Roosevelt School.
Perfect. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
Okay,
They're not repaving because of teachers' convention. They're
They're
repaving
repaving it
they got
because
roads.
schools are closed.
Parking on either side.
Right.
There is no parking on either side.
Right.
No, you can
There
park
is a
on
whole
one
bunch of signs. Half of them, but that's a county.
Right.
They got a nice artificial turf field you could park on.
Yeah, nice and level. Does anyone else wish to be heard?
This has to be lined.
Seeing none, I entertain a motion to close the public portion of the meeting. Motion by Bennett, second by Mealy, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Have a motion to adjourn. Motion by Bennett, second by Bertolo, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next regular meeting is of the Municipal Council is Wednesday, November 28th
So moved.
at 7 PM. We're adjourned.